All right, let's get real. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a shame loop? On one hand, you feel disloyal if you talk about your narcissistic relationship, but on the other hand, if you keep quiet, you feel like you're betraying yourself. It's like you're trapped between a rock and a hard place, except the rock is your guilt and the hard place is your confusion. If this sounds like you, don't worry. You're not alone. In this video, we're going to unpack why talking about your relationship matters and how to break free from the double-sided shame. Stick around because I'm also going to share a bonus tip that could change everything for you. Okay, let's talk about shame. No, not the kind you feel when you accidentally like your ex's Instagram post from 2013 while stalking their profile. We've all been there, right? But the other kind, the double-sided shame that comes with talking about your narcissistic relationship. It's like being stuck in an emotional game of tug-of-war, except the rope is made of guilt, confusion, and that voice in your head that says, no one will understand. You should just keep quiet. But guess what? You're not crazy, and that voice, well, it's not your friend. So here's the first kind of shame that people in narcissistic relationships often experience. It's the shame of talking about it. A lot of people feel like they're betraying their partner, their family member, or even themselves when they try to explain what's going on. And here's why. Unless there's something obvious like cheating or physical abuse, it's hard to explain what's happening in these relationships. Words like gaslighting, manipulation, or emotional abuse can feel like foreign concepts to someone who's never been through it. Instead, people may get responses like, oh, maybe you misunderstood, or they're just stressed out. Don't make a big deal of it. Even when it's clear something's wrong, it's hard to get validation. And because narcissistic relationships often have good days mixed in with the bad, people can start second guessing themselves, thinking it's just normal relationship stuff. Basically, you end up feeling like you're in an emotional game of whack-a-mole. As soon as you talk about one issue, a new one pops up. And when you're done talking, you feel like you've been hit over the head by the whole mole of guilt. Fun, right? But here's the thing. Narcissistic relationships are designed to confuse you. It's not about the obvious abuse. It's about the subtle manipulation, the constant gaslighting, the emotional roller coaster that makes it hard to trust yourself. You might even start rationalizing their behavior. Oh, they didn't really mean that. Or maybe it's me. Maybe I'm overreacting. That's the power of trauma bonding. You get so caught up in the emotional highs and lows, you forget that your reality is being distorted. And it doesn't help when you try to talk about it and are met with silence or dismissiveness from others. This can make you feel like you're the one doing something wrong. That's the first kind of shame, the shame of speaking up. You feel like you're betraying the narcissistic person or being disloyal to your relationship because, let's face it, sometimes they don't act like monsters all the time. Here's a bonus tip. If you're talking to someone about what's happening and they don't seem to get it, you might want to reconsider where you're getting advice from. No offense to Aunt Kathy, but if her idea of relationship advice comes from watching too many rom-coms, it might be time to consult someone who really understands narcissistic abuse. A therapist who knows what narcissism is about will help you cut through the noise and really get to the heart of what's happening. Trust me, it'll save you a lot of emotional exhaustion. Now let's talk about the second kind of shame. The shame that builds up when you don't talk about it. When you keep everything inside, it starts to mess with your self-perception. Narcissistic abuse isn't just about what happens to you on the outside. It also affects you on the inside. You start believing you're not enough. You start questioning whether you're the one at fault. This is when you can lose yourself, the real you, because you're so busy trying to survive the relationship that you forget who you are. The emotional abuse becomes normal. You lose sight of what healthy relationships look like. It's like someone took a Sharpie and crossed out your identity. And that's when the shame really starts festering. You feel like you've given up on yourself, but in reality, it's the narcissist who's stolen pieces of you. They make you question your worth, and the longer you stay silent, the harder it is to recognize that it's not you, it's them. So how do you heal from this? First, you need to talk about it. You need to find the courage to speak your truth, even if it's uncomfortable. And that starts with finding safe people, therapists, support groups, or even close friends who get it. Narcissistic abuse is hard to navigate alone. You need to hear, "I see you," and "what happened to you wasn't okay." You can't heal without that validation. And yes, this means recognizing that the narcissist behavior is not your fault and that you're allowed to feel hurt and angry. Remember, you're not crazy and you're not alone. And if you need more support and guidance on navigating these tricky relationships, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Marisa in the World community. We've got a lot of important discussions to have and a lot of healing to do. Trust me, it's way more fun and productive than Googling how to survive a narcissist at 2 a.m. See you in the next video.